Hello there, and welcome to I guess you could call this a mini review of Sea of Thieves, although this is technically the final beta, not the actual full game, which at this point I believe the game is out. Reviews, very mixed. Angry Joe's video is particularly on point with what he says about this game. My experience has been sort of similar. Difference is I was only playing this in single player, so I haven't played the multiplayer. I haven't really done any of the missions as such. I did actually go to some of the missions, but on the way I got attacked because I was playing single player. Now, the pros of this game, again, the game looks brilliant. The graphics are on they're very, very good. The water effects especially, it's just, the whole world looks really, really good. It has, the graphic style is just very, very pleasant to look at. The environments are nice. The lighting effects really sort of stand out. The boats themselves, the way they handle is very, very nice. They're very easy to control. And combat-wise, when you go into battles and stuff, you have planks of wood to repair the damage to the ships. You have, for instance, bananas that heal your health. And again, the physics of the game are very, very cool. And it's very, very easy to steer the ship, put the anchor down, bring the sails down, although I did find that tricky. It took me a few attempts to actually figure out how to put the sails down. Again, I was playing this on a PC, so I can't speak for the Xbox performance, but it's very well optimized. I was running on a Ryzen 1700X, overclocked to, I think it was 3.7 or 3.8 gigahertz. 16 gigs of DDR for Corsair memory, and standard hard drive currently. SSD in the future, hopefully. But yeah, it is very, very well optimized. There's a lot to like. There are a few cons, but before I jump onto the cons, I will say the game sort of throws you in the deep end straight away. There's no tutorial. Again, final beta, so I can't speak for the full game. There was no real... I only discovered the map about 20 minutes into the game. And as I said, when I went to do a mission as such, every time I went somewhere I ended up encountering someone and getting killed. So there's a great deal of griefing with this game in particular. Now the game... There's a lot of potential with this game. There's so much that could be done with this to make it that much better. I mean, it's kind of... the world itself is... there are a few things like... I mean, I'll just jump into the cons. For instance, the NPCs, they're all... it's all text. There's no... the NPCs don't speak, which is a shame, because with a game like this, and with what it is, you'd want to be able to actually hear the characters speak, because, I mean, the emphasis is a pirate game at the end of the day. There's going to be a lot of R-ing and R-ing and all that kind of stuff, which is a shame, because there is a lot, as I said, to like with this game. There's a lot of potential. And again, the game... Everything about the game is very well done, it's very well rendered. It has, little effects like the wind blowing, the movement of the waves on the sea and stuff. But the world feels very, very empty. Like, there doesn't appear to be a great deal to do within the game. Now, if you watch any like Angry Joe or a lot of other people's reviews, and that's of the final game, not the final beta, which is what I'm actually on about at the moment. The game's very, very empty, and it just seems to lack. There's something that's lacking. This game to me, and this is the final beta, I mean, again, I'm playing single player, so before I jump on, that single player, this is not a game to play in single player. You can play it in single player, but it doesn't really, it works, but it's not recommended, because you're just getting griefed by people all the time. And 9 times out of 10, you'll always lose that fight. And the game makes you go into like a, I don't know, it's like the world of the dead, I suppose you could call it. And then when it basically lets you go through the door, you can come back in and respawn. It respawns you a lot of the time back on your ship, and then they just kill you again. So I had that happen to me a few times with the game, which is kind of annoying. And when your ship does sink, there is like a little mermaid that pops up, and you can swim to her, and she'll send you back to an island, and your ship will be sitting there waiting for you. I also understand this game is online only, so you have to be connected, I believe, to actually play the game, which is kind of weird given the fact. I mean, there is a single player component to it, but it's kind of pointless in a way. If you pick the single player, you get a little ship. If you pick the bigger galleon ship, usually, I'm not sure, because I didn't actually, did I try it? I can't remember if I tried it or not, but it gives you the ability to steer a galleon, and I believe you may need more than one person to do that. So, yeah, it's a flawed game, to say the least. The combat is very, very basic. I mean, you've got this, I don't know about updates, but like, you've got, I think it's 4 guns, that's all you've got. Which is a bit lacking, and obviously you've got different swords. You can unlock cosmetic items, although in the beta I don't believe I didn't unlock anything in the beta. I just pretty much just sailed around, discovered, you know, how pretty the game was, and basically kept encountering other people who 9 times out of 10 proceeded to murder me. So there's that. Again, if you go into the actual sea, into the choppy seas, your ship will actually take damage, and then generally it will sink, which is it's kind of a terrifying experience when your ship sinks, to say the least. It's got a lot going for it, this game. There's a lot of potential there, but they've got to add content, because it's just lacking so much content. This game at the moment, to me, it feels like an early access type game. Now, personally, I wouldn't pay 40 or £50, I believe it's about that price, or $60, $70 in the States. And again, I can't speak for other places, but you'll know roughly, you know, price-wise what it is and stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend it at full price, not at the moment. Now, the Xbox Pass, which I believe this is included in, yeah, maybe, yeah, for a subscription for whatever it is, 10, I'm assuming between 10 and £15 UK currency. I don't know what it is in other countries, but I imagine it can't be that much more or less. Yeah, I'd recommend it, but you do need friends to get into it. If you don't have friends, you're going to be, not going to say struggling, but you're going to be having a lot of issues trying to find things to do in the game, because it is very, very sort of sparse. And again, the world is very, very creative. There's a lot there, but there's also a lot of there's just a lot of things that really do need improving. This game, I feel, isn't finished. It's lacking so much stuff. Oh, and one thing to always remember is watch where you're driving, because these ships, they sink quick, real quick. I've had a couple of occasions where I wasn't paying attention and I drove straight into like a rock, and within about 2 to maybe 2 seconds the ship sank. And it's quite, as I said, it's quite a frightening experience when the ship sinks. It's very, very cool though, the way it goes down. And there are actually there are sharks and all that stuff. But I think I watched, again, a lot of people probably don't notice, but the E3 trailer for this showed like you could dive down from your ship to another ship that's sunk and steal their treasure. From being in the water in the game, I saw none of that. I didn't see anything. I just saw darkness. That was all there was. There doesn't seem to be anything really going on under the surface of the game. There's really not a lot that I can see even interact with, apart from the one shark that I actually bumped into. And we'll show some of that footage in the video, because I must have done about 50 to 100 gig of recordings of this game. The difference is with this is I'm actually recording the audio after it, because this way it don't require as much concentration. To be honest, the only time you need to concentrate on anything on this game is when you're in combat. As I said, the combat is very, very basic, but it is actually a great time when, especially when you're on the ships, because the ships can take a fair amount of punishment before they do start to take on more turns. And there's a lot. This game is kind of like the way I play this is like GTA. You load the game up, and if you're not interested in some of the missions and stuff, you basically you just screw around. And there's a lot that you can do in this game. A lot of fun things to do with just screwing around. But there's going to come a point where just screwing around is just going to get boring, and you're just going to lose interest. The enemies on the game, there ain't that many. Like the skeletons, that's pretty much all I encountered in the game. It's just loads of skeletons. Other than human players, which either help you, or in my case, proceeded to kill me on numerous occasions. That's it. There's really nothing more to the game in terms of the enemies from what I haven't seen. I know there's a Kraken in the full game, but if you watch Angry Joe's video or anybody else's video, in his one he particularly mentions that the actual Kraken is just arms that grab your ship, or as such. There's no actual there's nothing under the water. There's no head. So this game is it's very bare basics in terms of what is actually there for you to do. But I mean, I hope, because this is a lot of potential. If they could just add content to this game, because at the moment the world it's a massive, brilliant sandbox. There's loads that could be done with it, but there's just very little to actually do in the game. And I mean, as I said, I wouldn't pay full price for this. I'd wait till it's on a sale. Again, Xbox Pass. Go for Xbox Pass, because that would be really recommended. I would like to see Xbox Pass come to PC actually, because that would be kind of interesting. The idea that you could play it. I mean, obviously, you know, Xbox Pass allows backwards compatible 360 games and Xbox One games. But if they were to include, we're saying that I don't know if there's enough titles on the PC platform that are Xbox-related games to actually the subscription service to be worth it. But I would like to see somewhere that come to it, because it's something that I think Windows Store needs some major improvements, because I've never used it. I will admit there are some good things, like there's some of the demos, like you get like a 4-hour demo of Gears of War 4, I believe, which is a few years old at this point. So there's things like that. So there's a great deal of potential with this, but it just needs content, and at the moment it ain't got it. It just doesn't have a lot of content. But as I said, if you want a more in-depth video, Angry Joe or somebody like that is definitely someone to go to, because they've played the game for hours upon end. So that's pretty much everything about the game, really. Last thing, as I said, I will say is the combat. Cannons and stuff. Loading your cannons is quite an interesting experience. It's quite a tense sort of and stressful sort of situation to be in when you're fighting, and it's good fun. But again, when I was playing, I played with one person who didn't proceed to kill me, which was nice of them. And we did a few things. I went to a fortress where we did nothing. Basically, we just We didn't discover treasure, no. In fact, it took me a while to actually understand the control, as in the inventory system as such, so digging up treasure and all that kind of stuff. Which I didn't really do, because after a couple of hours I kind of got bored. I was really struggling to find things to do. Now, admittedly, you have got the map to do the missions and stuff, and again, I didn't do them, so I can't speak for them, but from everything I've read and watched from other YouTubers and reviewers in general, they were saying that the game doesn't have... it's just repetition. There's no real leveling system, so you don't really get any more powerful. It's just all cosmetic stuff. And apparently you can't even see the stuff you're wearing unless I don't know unless you've got someone with you. Although I could be wrong on that. As I said, I didn't really play with anybody else on the actual game, apart from one person who he proceeded to play music to me while I was driving the ship, which was kind of funny. There's a lot of funny stuff that you can do in this game, and as I said, the graphics are standout. They really are good. And my 970, which is a MSI Gaming 970, well optimized, ran beautifully. I was looking at 60 frames a second, I believe it was, all the time, all the settings on high. As I said, potential is there, but it needs content, and currently it doesn't have that much, and that's pretty much it really with the game. As I said, potential's there, it just needs mass loads of content, because there's just nothing really to do. It's like going on holiday, to be honest, in a way. You load the world up, and you just look around and think, oh man, the graphics they're just excellent. There's just nothing that's going to hold you there, and you will find yourself getting bored. When you jump, there's full damage, so there's a few bits like that. The general control systems are very, very easy to get to grips with. But pretty much everybody that I've come across in the game is just looking for a fight. Because that's, again, all you can do apart from missions. But it needs a proper progression system. It needs a leveling system that makes you more powerful, it makes your boats more powerful, you can upgrade the ship. It needs something. And the guy I was playing with, his name is Slipping Slot. I may call that, I don't know. She would want me to actually give him name, but I don't know if he was even aware I was recording it. I imagine not so. But yeah, that's pretty good really. Sea of Thieve, it could have been so good, and Microsoft really do need some exclusive games, because at the moment Sony are let's just say that their exclusive games are quality, even though I haven't played that many of them. And I don't know, Microsoft have got some work to do with their exclusive games, definitely. But this could have been one of them. I guess we'll just have to see how the Ubisoft game, which is, I can't remember what it's called now. It's a pirate type game, but I believe it's just ship-based combat. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope I haven't bored you too much. The content of the video won't be. I've done a few hours of footage, so it'll be like 10-15 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on this particular game. If you're playing it and you're enjoying it, good for you. And let us know in the comments, I suppose, what new features they've added and updates and stuff, because I was generally interested in when this game was announced, what they were going to do with it, but I think I'll wait and see where it goes. Because, as I said 2 or 3 times now, the potential's there for something really great. So I'm going to leave you with 20 or 25 minutes or more of footage so you can see more of the game for yourself. I hope you enjoy it.